There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Mean Green Nation podcast. Welcome to it. I think everybody that watches the YouTube, and there's not a lot of YouTube people that watch it, they're kind of like, what are they doing all the time? It's because they can't hear the music. Only I can hear the music, and that's fine. It's funny to me that you guys are just looking at me. So like when I edit the show, my kids are like, why are they just looking at you? I was like, don't worry about it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday of game week, and we're continuing our little series here. We're trying to be big time podcasters here. We went out, we called him up. He's busy, just living his life, and we're like, Mr. Brandin Byrd, stop what you're doing, get over here. We got a podcast with you, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. At least that's how I imagine the whole conversation went. How are you doing on this fine Wednesday evening?
Man, first off, thanks for having me on here. I'm doing great. Everything is right in the world when the Mean Green are handling business. Obviously, better at work, it's a better day, all those different things. But everything is going good on this Wednesday.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works, right? Like, you wake up Sunday. I always like to joke that everything's sweeter. You wake up Sunday, you're like, why do I feel so good? Like maybe even have a crick in my neck. So I slept funny. I'm getting old, but I'm like, you know what? It's a good crick. You know what I mean? It's fine. I feel great. You know what I mean? Coffee tastes better. The whole deal.
Happy pain.
Yeah. All right. So, yes, 4-0. And very few North Texas fans, teams, anybody could ever say, hey, 4-0 going to 5-0 week. Like, it's down to, like, they're looking it up, and they're like, yeah, 1959. And everybody's like, does anybody know anybody from that team? It's getting to rarefied air. And so I think everybody has reason to be excited. I don't want to say we knew this was going to happen, but I think a combination of things. One, like Eric Morris always had a good offense. Two, got a new defensive coordinator that everybody thought good things of. And then three, the schedule is a little weaker, right? You're not playing Alabama. You're not playing, LSU. No disrespect to Western Michigan and to Washington State, but those teams are not that powerful right now. And so, like, yeah, you beat them and they got a little name, but, again, nothing. So there's a little, all that to say, I don't want to apologize for wins. It's very tough to get a football win every week. So it doesn't matter who you play. Somebody, they get scholarships and they practice and the whole thing. But I'm just saying. So all that decided, we figured they'd do well, okay. But we were saying on Monday to our special guest Mason Barbo here, like I feel like the team is paying attention to details, and that's great. What did you see in that Army game that stood out to you, if anything?
So pretty much piggybacking on what he said, ultimately it comes down to execution. When you're playing a team like Army, Navy, or Air Force, the naval academies that run that triple option, just speaking defensively, I mean, it's hard. You gotta be on your keys, no matter what it may be, depending on the week, whether it's the safeties keying the wing backs and trying to figure out what kind of option they're doing or whatever it may be. You got to lock in on your assignment, and you can't get dirty eyes. And I think that they do a good job of establishing that run so much, and it's so repetitive, and it may be boring to football watchers who want to watch high-flying offense and all those different things. But as soon as you get caught up in all that, and then they go over the top with the pass. So it's I feel like it was refreshing to see that those guys came out there after only having 1 week of practice, 1 week to get prepared for that. Because when I was on staff as a GA, when Barbo and I were on staff as GAs, we had 2 weeks. So we had an open week, and then we had the game week. And I mean, for GAs, especially on defense, it was stressful because we just stressing to tell the scout team, hey, this is what we need from y'all, because this is what our defense is trying to keep. So to me, them being able to get turnovers, them being able to just be in there and I'll go ahead and say it, I guess bend but don't break. Them being able to just finish the game, and the cool things to see, not only from Army but even Western Michigan, is that when it did get tight, that there was no panic, from the team. There was no, oh no, what do we do? They just stayed with the flow. stayed even kill, didn't get too high, didn't get too low. So I think it was cool to see the defense get some more turnovers, had the celebrations. They got to me that's the best celebration around. I mean, I got people that I work with, man, it's the best celebration ever. Like it is cool. And just seeing those guys play free and I feel like the defense has a swagger about them. They kind of remind me of the defense that I got to go against every single day in 2013. Like they just it just reminds me of that. So it was cool to see them fly around. And then obviously our offense. I mean, Eric Morris, he's him in my opinion, just because he's had all these different quarterbacks come in, not just quarterbacks but players. You know, we're notorious for guys going off and then riding into the sunset, going to power forwards. I don't know if we can truly get upset with them for their decisions. I know that we want to keep everybody, but for him to be able to go and get and him and his staff to be able to go and find these guys to come in and play, whether they're safety that hasn't played quarterback since ninth grade B team, or a receiver from Shepherd, the Division II, or whoever they may pick up. It's cool to see that they're picking these guys up, diamonds in the rough, and they come in and they just handle business. It's been fun to watch, man, and I'm excited to see them keep going.
You made like several great points. I'm responding. First, I'm going to ask Aldo what you thought of. I mean, do you have anything to add to that?
Oh no, I want to key in on the points that he made. He's made some awesome points that I want to
Yeah, so
dig into.
like number one, yeah, because we talked about this on the Monday show, and I want to get into the specifics of like playing defense and guard. And I think you bring up being a GA. That's very interesting to me because I think you see it, you saw it from a player's perspective, and there's not that it's limited, but it's more like focused, right? They're asking you to do a thing, and then when you have to be a coach, you have to think of the whole a lot more. You're like, okay, maybe this guy's weak at this and they're going to probably attack us this way. So we need everybody to be ready for that. And you have to get everybody to change their thinking or be ready to do that, but also stay focused. And there's a lot of kind of moving around. You want them to play free, but then you also want them to think about it and be ready and not be surprised. A lot there. So we'll get into that in a second. But I want to talk about like Eric Morris. I think what stands out to him is like that identifying thing, right? A lot of people have said, "Man, the air raid's great. Let's go run that. I'm going to run it in my high school or middle school or some college, D2, D3, whatever." But I think the ones that do it successfully are able to identify talent. And I mean, you even look back to Mike Leach, right? He had that same thing. He was finding quarterbacks. He found guys, and I don't want to say turned them into, but he found something about them and saw how they could succeed in the system, and then like sort of unleashed them, right? That kind of thing.
No doubt.
Yeah, and so like it takes a staff of that, but I think it is Eric Morris, and one thing that's one reason I was very very excited about him coming to North Texas, his ability to identify quarterbacks. Everybody was like, well, he recruited these guys. It unfortunate. It's always like, can you do the next one, right? No matter who you are, whatever. Bill Belichick, he got Tom Brady, and that was great. And then after Tom Brady retires, it was like, well, can you do it again? And I mean, so far he hasn't, and so now everybody's starting to make fun of him, whatever. But I mean, that's the game. You're in the game. You make a play, and everybody's like, well, okay, that's great. Can you do it again? Right? That's life. So getting back to the thing, can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what specifically were you doing? I know you said you're getting a scout team, whatever. Can you take us through that week? Like, what does it look like preparing for any team, but specifically like an Army or something?
Man, so as I said earlier, especially on the defensive side, the cool thing for me, um, going back to North Texas to be a graduate assistant, and even Mason in the beginning, we went to defense and we are offensive guys. You know, we played offense, we like scoring and all that. When Coach Matt called me, he said, I got a defensive GA spot. It's yours if you want it. I'm like, well, I know I wanted to come back to be able to, coach at my school. I love Denton. I love the DFW area. Came back and it was different, man. It was number one. The first thing I'll say, like before I get into preparing for Army, but the just drawing up cards and looking at plays differently. I've always seen it from an offensive point of view. So drawing the offense here and the defense on the other side. It took me a minute, and my head hurt a little bit to have the offense up top and the defense down. I'm like, man, I'm wanting to flip it and different things. But over time, it got easier. But it was a lot of work. It was good. It really taught you how to be a coach. I feel like anytime you can go be a GA or just a lower level coach, whether it be middle school, GA, smaller level D2, it it makes you appreciate it. You know, when I was a player, we had GAs, and kind of like what you said, as a player is different. You see it, and you know whether you're on scout team or not, you see the cars and all that. You run the play, but guess what? Once you're done, you go about your day. You got your, got the rest of your day with your buddies. You got study hall. You got free time. You got all that. When you're a coach, it's different. Like you gotta lock in that much more, and you got to do stuff that you thought you may not have been have that was not on your plate to do, and it's different. It challenges you, and it does make you appreciate it more. Getting scouting reports ready, getting hit charts, all those different things. But going into the Army week was crazy. It was tough because we knew what they're gonna do. Very basic, but in that same aspect is it's different when it comes down to, like I was talking earlier, depending on how you're how you're keying them defensively, keying what type of option, what type of triple option they're doing, what type of run scheme they're doing, and really trying to get those guys to buy in. Like I said, we had 2 weeks, so it was good. Like the introduction was cool. You know, initially, I still remember I had to get the scout team guys. We would meet with them early. We would meet with them separate because, believe it or not, you can draw a card and you can show them that card. They're going to screw it up. 18 to 24 is going to screw it up. I coach high school football now, 14 to 18, they're going to screw it up. So you try to limit those things. So it was stressful of trying to make sure that they knew what to do. But the second week, it got a little easier because now for both parties, you know, because the defense is seeing it every day, and the scout guys are doing it because we're taking them out early to walk through to make sure, because we don't want to get yelled at. We're going to get yelled at anyway, but we're trying to limit it. You know what I mean? So it was good, but leading up to that week, I think it was I don't want to say it was easy. It was easier because it was a lot of the same basic plays that you had to get ready and draw up and show it for the defense. But it still took a lot of work because we do a lot of the dirty work. You know, the on-field coaches. Not saying that they don't do work, but we pretty much prepare all the cards and stuff for the coaches so that when we go outside and we actually practice, you know, here's what we're doing. At least when I was there, you know, it may
Yeah.
have been different. Now you got 3 million GAs, analysts. You got all these different people. So I feel like it's better now because you got more hands on deck. You got more minions. But going into that week it was refreshing when we went up there and got that win. I think we had 5 or 6 turnovers, got some picks. Jeff Wilson had a day. Mason Fine had a good day. Like it was cool because you reap the benefits of all the hard work you did. Now, having to play them in the bowl game kind of sucked because it's like, oh, here we go again, you know. And it was a sunny day. It was a nice day in December, and I mean they went off on us, but still was a good game overtime. And I think we had a lot of guys step up to try to make plays on both sides of the ball. But being a GA it's gonna be what you make it. Like if you find out real quick if you really want to be a coach or not. I'll say that.
Earlier, you mentioned something about planning and then communication between the offense and the defense, and a lot of times, people think of defense being in a silo and they got to do their job, and offense being in a silo and they got to do their job. As you're game planning, what kind of communication happens between the offensive coaches and the defensive coaches?
So I mean, for the most part, during the game, you're more so talking to your defensive. Like if you're a defensive coach, you're talking to your defensive guys. Offense talking to offense. The head coach is pretty much like the mediator, where obviously he overrides everything. He can talk to both parties. So I'm sure like Morris, he's an offensive guy, but if he needs to talk to Cassidy about something, hey, make sure y'all go over this, blah blah blah, he can do that. Or Cassidy, we're on defense and we have 3 timeouts left, and we were able to burn them. Now he can talk to Morris on the headset. Hey, we got 3 timeouts. We want to use them. You know, it's different things like that. But I think for the communication piece, so especially when we play Army the first time, you know, that first drive, I feel like we got a turnover. We're excited. I was in the box. You know, we're excited. Yeah, we got the ball back. And then the communication we got was Coach Refit. He's like, so what type of runs? What were they doing? And me and my buddy Tim were looking at each other like, don't really know. Get y'all's eyes right up there. All right, yes sir. And, you know, so it goes to and I don't think we were necessarily watching the game, but like you gotta really lock in when you're like everybody has a job. It's just like players. Everybody has a job to do. You got to lock in, and you can't watch the game. Whatever your assignment is, you
Yeah.
got to do it to the best of your ability. But for the most part, offensive coaches communicate with the offense, defense communicates with the defense, and I feel like if anything, you're encouraging the other side of the ball. Like if you talk to them, but for the most part, it's kind of separate, unless we all got to come together and talk about something during the game.
I think what I don't want to talk about something that happened, 8 years ago or 9 years ago, 2016, whatever that bowl game was. But what did they do differently in that? Because I was at that game and we were a little hyped about it. And I think I did a little film room on it, and I was just kind of talking about how it looked to me like it was a lot of guys in the right spots, maybe just couldn't make a play, just a little bit late on this, that, and the other. And I always feel like, I'm saying I feel like the option football is like a pick and roll in basketball. Like, it is a simple play, but if it's executed right, you make the defense wrong a lot, right? Like, I'm gonna go this way, and this screen is set, and I go shoulder to shoulder around the corner, and I'm coming down hard. It's very difficult to get through the screen and all the other stuff, and suddenly I got a dunk, and you're like, well, how come you're not? I knew it was coming. It's very difficult to defend. So, like, yeah, if they're hitting you the right spot and they're getting to where they want to go, and also knowing that they know their offense better than you know your offense, you can't get prepared for it because they're playing it every time. They know your adjustments because everybody makes those adjustments against them. So they're ready for it a little bit quicker than you are, and I feel that puts teams that don't play option football teams at a disadvantage. So I don't know. Am I close to what happened there or something?
That's where I'm at because even with the bowl game, we had more time again to get prepared for it, and we had success, and then you got other elements that play into it. Like I said, it was raining that day, um, so I think they were just loosey goosey with the ball. And
Yeah.
the day we played in the bowl game, great weather for December, and I think they were able to execute the plays better than we were able to stop it. Especially you got a whole film of us playing. So now they're probably dissecting it like, okay, how were they trying to key in on stopping us? And maybe they saw that and they took it and ran with it. Because really, even in the first game, they started blocking differently, like bringing the tackle out to the second level defenders. I'm like, oh gee, like that's something that we have not seen. So I feel like as you said, they do it all 365, 24/7. That's the offense that they run. And I'm sure that they have had all different types of ways that people have tried to defend it. So they have easy things to adjust. And I think that's what they were able to do.
All right.
So
All right. So go ahead, Aldo. You're gonna ask a question.
I got another coaching question. When something like that happens, when there's an adjustment, let's say I'm thinking about UAB right now, and sometimes they add sixth or seventh offensive lineman to do a power run or something like that. And if it's something new you haven't seen, like what does the adjustment look like during the game? Is it like, oh shit, we need to do something about this, and y'all figure something out?
pretty much. So like during the possession, it's hard to. I would say as a coach, it's hard to try to adjust on the fly. You probably go back to your base stuff in the time for the time being. Speaking offensively, like you probably try to go to your base stuff. If you get to a fourth down, where we got to punt the ball away, now you come to the bench and talk to the guys upstairs who are seeing it from the sky view. And at that point, now so it goes back to your earlier question. Like now we're conversating. Okay, this is what we got. Football now you can have an iPad up there to film what's going on. So that's what we do. Like we're filming and we're like, hey, go back to the play, go back to whatever play we just got done running. How are they playing this? And if it's a new adjustment, now we draw it up on the board downstairs, and the kids are seeing it. And now we're trying to make it right. I mean, that's the big thing, and that's common. I mean, probably 3 years ago, first game we were getting ready for. We thought we were going to see a even front, four down defense, and next thing you know, they come out in the odd, or it was vice versa. I can't remember, but we practiced for a week. All right, we're going to see this front. Get out there. Hey, they're in this. Okay, and again, it goes back to what I just got done talking about with the option. They have their base things that they tweak. You have your things as a coach. Okay, if they line up in this, we know that we like this. If they line up in that, we know that we like this for that. So I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And then the cool thing at halftime, depending on how long your half times are, I know that they're shorter in college, but in high school you got all the bands and all the shenanigans going, so you have more time uh to visit those things. And now you can go and talk to your position group or talk to the offense or the defense as a whole and say, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what they're doing to us, and this is how we're going to try to attack it. And then one more thing, going to what you said, adding in a sixth lineman. The coolest thing, that one of the best things that I learned as a GA being on defense is that defenses are stressed about every little thing. So if you line up in one formation, like say Eric Morris goes out there and they line up with a center and the guard and tackle out wide with receivers, I think they call it monster on the video game. If you line up in the one time, you got to draw that card. You're going to go over that play for defense. So now that's one more thing that they got to think about. And again, like, coaches are coaching, but it's still that 18 to 24-year-old out there that has to make that play. So that's one thing that I saw, and I was like, man, I got to take this and run with it, because it's you have to do it, but I mean, that's something that I like to do.
Yeah, I think that's like famous, right? Like, sometimes you'll throw some junk formations. Like, we don't really plan to run this in the conference season, but we know now that we're going to take up a couple hours of GA's time. He's got to draw it up. They got to coach it up. They got to talk about it. They got to say, all right, if they do this, how are we going to defend it? What do they throw out of this formation? What are we going to do? Who's going to guard it? So then you take them away, and maybe it steals you a couple, just a little advantage here and there, because you get to rep your normal stuff. Yeah, I think that's great. I'm glad we had you on here so we can have this conversation. I like that. My favorite thing, I've said it like every week on the show, is that Cassidy's quote at his like high school football presentation, the Texas high school football one. He said it doesn't matter really if the OC knows how to stop what we're doing. It matters if the quarterback knows how to stop it under duress while we're coming after him, right? Like, and that, I think, is keeping it simple, but also keeping it complex, right? Like, we're going to be confusing, not for the OC, because, it doesn't matter if you're in the box and you see it, like, oh, they're doing the thing, because it has to be communicated. And in the moment, it has to be the decision maker, the guy with the ball. He has to recognize it. Or if you're doing something else, the receiver has to see, oh, they're in cover 4. And then, so he needs to make a route adjustment. If he doesn't see it, it doesn't matter, right? It don't matter if, like, the OC sees it or anything like that. So, I that's the great thing about this game. It's a chess match of everybody, all the old heads that are like, no, you got to do it this way. And I learned this over 3-4 years of high level football. And then the kids are like, but I just kind of want to do it this way. And you're like, no, how do you do it? And do you appreciate all those coaches, all your position coaches back, and have you texted them like, you know what? I'm sorry that maybe I didn't listen when I should have listened. You were coming from a good place, and I probably should have took your advice a little bit quicker than I did.
For sure. I don't know. Like, it's a different. I always say, like, kids now are different. When I played, and I'm acting like I'm an old head, but I guess I'm getting there. Like, they call me Uncle at school sometimes. But when the coach tells you to do something, all right, yes sir, no sir, all right. These jokers now, you talk to them, it's almost like you got to beat them to the why. So I like to, whatever we're doing, I'm like, this is why we're doing this. And then I explain it, and I feel like when you do it that way, now they're like, oh, okay. Like, I don't feel like they're being defiant when they say, wow. These kids want to know now.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, but yes, all the time, coaches, talking to you or getting on to you about something, you don't want to listen to it all the time, but it is what it is. Like, I was brought up, be respectful, listen to your coaches, listen to people that are over you, and over time, whether you understand it or not, as you get older, you're like, dang, okay, so for sure, definitely appreciate all the coaches, from little league all the way up to college.
That's good. I think that they'd like to hear that. I think like I say, coaching my daughter's soccer team, some of that. There's a couple of them like, can you please listen? I said to stay here. Can you please? And I want to be the yelling coach. I'm like, I know I'm not gonna be the yelling coach. I'm like, come on. Anyway, all the coaching aside, I think this team has a lot of things going right for it. One, we got a quarterback we all believe in, right? Drew Mason said he said he's zesty for Mesty. I think everybody's excited about this dude. He has like a calmness about him that is like it's almost unnatural. You're like you've only played 5 football games. Why are you acting like this is like your fifth year senior? Like he's not throwing an interception. I think every freshman quarterback makes it like a mistake. You're like, okay, he's a freshman. We haven't seen him make those kinds of things. I was saying in that Army game, he missed some throws, and I was like, you know what? This is probably his worst game. And you know what? He has 200 yards passing, a couple touchdowns. If this is this is the nadir, the lowest point, I don't hate it. I think somebody somewhere along the line is going to scheme up something. He's going to get hit. He's going to have to go through a little bit more adversity. But so far, so good. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's not a P4 team right now, just putting money in the bag, getting ready to beat him with it and say, you're going to get money whipped and you're going to come over here to wherever this is. So, and I don't blame him for it. You know what I mean? I've taken other jobs when I got money whipped for less money that he's going to be offered. So,
for sure.
Is there anything you see in his game that stands out to you? It's
pretty much what you just said, just being calm. Like, we get the news that Morris is leaving. Dang, all right. This happened last year. Chandler Rogers, now we got Chandler Morris leaving. And you key in and watch that bowl game, you're like, who is this guy? And he just goes out there, as you said, calm like he's been playing and balls out. And then you fast forward to this year, we got a quarterback battle, they say, and he holds that guy off. And as you said, he's been nothing short of just being accurate and doing the right things and getting the ball where he needs to get to. It almost reminds me of Mason Fine, just a bigger guy. Mason Fine was small, not the prototypical QB at all, but he was calm back there. And it was actually awesome to see how calm he was for his stature, especially early on in his career. But I think Mr. Maker, he's solid. He does what he's supposed to do with football. He's also more athletic than people give him credit for as well, within the offense. So anytime that we have him back there, I feel good, and I think Mean Green Nation feels good. I think that's one of the biggest things you have to have in college football. You have to have a quarterback. If you got somebody back there that can protect the ball and get the ball out to the playmakers and do the right things with the football, you're going to have a chance, especially if your defense is playing as good as ours. So it's been good. And going back to both of the road wins and overtime, it's been cool to watch him orchestrate drives and be able to help sustain them the best way that he can. So I'm excited to continue to watch him progress, and kind of like what you said, he's probably one of the hottest names up there for QB. I've seen somebody tweet, it's one of these analyst guys talking about quarterback play has not been great, and I get where they're coming from. If they're I feel like everybody I'm not trying to talk about other teams, but everybody put Arch on this big pedestal, and he hadn't really done anything. So to me, that's their for doing that. And then you got Doug Nussmeier, who's been playing a lot of football, Lagway through 1 million picks the other day. So to see, regardless of schedule and regardless of who you're playing, to see him do well with the ball and make the right reads and things like that, I think that he is one of those guys that teams are probably already talking about, looking at. I don't know how this NIL and transfer portal thing is so crazy. I'm sure that, you got people representing, you got people probably trying to represent him, say, hey, come over here. But I'm gonna appreciate him and this team and everybody that's within it, coaches, as long as we can have them. So,
yeah, 100% agree. And that, like I said, at the risk of repeating myself, I think it's like it's decision making. That's great, and like I think it's the calmness and I said. Composure. Yeah, it's like we said this about Seth Luttrell. He had a great offense. He had big numbers on that. I think one thing that did him in his career, like towards the end of his North Texas time, was that he couldn't find another, right? And again, that's the thing. You found a Mason Fine. You get 100% credit for that. You got to find the next one. And you went through some guys. There's some guys that are talented, the whole thing, and it's a tough thing, but that's the job, right? I was saying the same thing about UTSA's coach. He had Jeff Traylor, right? He had what's his face for like 7 years there, and that was great. Now, yeah, and now it's like, okay, and you have this McCown kid. You're like, oh, he's doing good some weeks, not so good the next week, and suddenly people are like, man, we should get rid of Traylor. Maybe he should take this Oklahoma State job. that's again, is that fair? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just that's just the way it is, right? You got to find the quarterback. It all comes from there.
It's a part of the job, yeah. And I feel with Morris, I think that's partly his skill, partly his luck. Like you hit on somebody, and it's Brandon. You said it was like a diamond in the rough, but sometimes it's like with a program like North Texas, you got to go bargain bin hunting, right? You got to go find the guy, and you know who in their right mind would have a kid that's hadn't started a varsity game throughout their high school career, give them a scholarship, and have them starting for a Division One program. Like it's an awesome story for sure. Not going to deny that, but that's who we have to pull in order to get North Texas to be successful. But I think to Eric Morris's credit, yes, he's identifying talent, but he's also bringing a scheme that creates stats and volume and makes these guys look awesome, and so there's an interest there to bring for quarterbacks to come here, get successful, and then go off to what is it, West Virginia or Virginia, get a life-changing paycheck. And Drew's not going to be here forever.
Morris went to Virginia, yeah.
Virginia, yeah.
For 5 touchdowns out there. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, and so as a fan, I want to enjoy the season. I want to enjoy this moment because I know things can change, and I hope Drew sticks around, but I won't blame him for leaving, and I'm just gonna enjoy the ride while it lasts.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that kind of brings me to this one. This week, how hard is it to stay focused when you're getting hyped? And I mean, because y'all had the same thing. Talked, on the Monday show about like up until to a certain point, North Texas was like, what are they gonna do? He kind of losing, kind of rebuilding the program there a little bit, and then that 2013 season, you can see it in the attendance numbers. It was like, okay, the openers kind of people go to that one, but then a couple of losses, just whatever. As it started building up, that UTEP game was almost packed. Everybody thought it was gonna be a sellout. I think if that UTSA game wasn't cold and Arctic hell, that would have been sold out. And but what I'm interested in is how do y'all maintain the focus week to week when you're starting to get a little hype, people start talking about you, like, oh yeah man, that was a good game. Before nobody's telling you a good game, they're like, oh I play football, like, oh okay cool. Now you're winning, like, man, great run. People texting you, your uncle's texting you, everybody's suddenly interested. And it can, I imagine it throws you off your normal routine, right? Because now you're going to the weight room to do your work. But now you're going to the weight room, now you have a bunch of texts. Now you're seeing extra memes about how amazing you are. More TikToks about how you're going to kill them. So I feel like that distracts you. How do you keep focused?
You got to, even more now for sure, with every TikTok wasn't around when I was Twitter,
yeah,
X.
I was trying to remember what was around in 2013. It was done.
But, you can't drink the Kool-Aid. I think that being a GA for Mac and then Latrell, one of the cool things that Latrell said, and I think he got this from Mike Leach, and I was like, man, I never thought about that. You just think about keeping the main thing next week and all those, but he would tell the guys, you can't listen to people tell you how good you are, because the same people that are telling you that you're good, if you go out there and you drop a pass, or you go out there and you throw 3 picks and you give up touchdowns, those same people are gonna be like, man, you were kind of bad. So I take that. I've taken that with me, and I tell our guys that all the time, and I try to get them to I explain to them this, because we practice in the mornings, and even if we practice in the afternoon, I don't think attendance would be there, but I talk to them. I say, are people out there watching us practice in the morning? They say, no, sir. I'm like, well, why are we worrying about what they're saying to us? Like, yes, be excited about playing at home in front of your friends, your girlfriends, everybody, fans and all that. But at the end of the day, it's about the guys right here, and I feel like they got to keep the main thing. They got to, it is tough right now. I mean, think about it. We're talking about how good we're playing right now, people are tweeting. I'm tweeting like crazy. Barbo's tweeting beat South Alabama every day. He did that at beat Army every day.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Everybody's doing that. It's great and all those things, but you still gotta keep the main thing. And I think with us, we went on a five game win streak, I believe. the thing that hurt us, I believe, number one, yes, I wish it wasn't as cold, or I wish people would just say, screw it, we're gonna be out there cold and we're gonna go crazy in the apogee. But it was what it was. The people that showed up showed up. I think that I don't want to say we overlooked UTSA, but in our minds, because it may have been their first year of Division One, I believe, and we seen that they lost to McMurray in the past. We kind of were like, they're not ready for us, and we just had that confidence about ourselves. Really, my whole class, we kind of had that confidence since we arrived on campus. In regard to, hey, we can be good here. We haven't showed anything yet. A lot of us didn't do anything freshman year. I mean, Breland went crazy on special teams.
Yeah.
Zach played the most out of all of us, but the majority of us, our true freshman year, played special teams. But we kind of always had that mindset, and over time and off season and sophomore, junior year, we showed flashes, and then senior year, we were like, man, this is the year. Like we gotta handle business. And I think we were even focused during UTSA week, but we couldn't get them off the field that night, and I don't know. I don't think we were listening to things. I think they were just better than us that night, and sometimes you have hangovers from games. So I think that's the big thing. I got a guy, he coaches, he's the head soccer coach at my school, Andrew Kirshner, and he went to North Texas, so it's cool because we talk every week. And we've been talking about this week, like, hey, man, we just got to handle this week so that, after this week, we got a bye week and we can get ready for the big one. But truth be told, this is the big one. We can't dismiss South Alabama just because of their record. We got to understand Major Applewhite's he's still the head coach, I believe. Major Applewhite, he's coming home to Texas. He wants to showcase what he can do. Their quarterback is from Spring, Texas. I'm sure he's gonna have his family there, all those different things. But you just gotta really lock in on your opponent and your assignment. You can't get too high, can't get too low. And like I said, Latrell and maybe Mike Leach, you can't listen to people tell you how good you are. You just gotta stay focused on what the goal is. So I hope that's what we're doing. I believe that's what we're doing. I'm hoping to be, celebrating just like you guys that, hey, we're 5-0 for the first time since my dad was a 1-year-old. That's crazy. So
yeah, I think it's like, because it is that thing, right? You're talking about like, don't listen to anybody, because like the other thing is that what got you a win was work, right? So it's work. You can have fun doing work, you can have confidence doing work, but it's like the focus on doing better. Like you're attacking the practice, the preparation in the same way. You can have fun, you can have confidence, you can enjoy the tweets if you're still doing that. But I think it's always that makes you think, well, I did the work, so now I'm enjoying the work. I don't have to practice as hard. And that's the part where you start slipping, right? You start thinking, oh, what I did last week in preparation should carry me in this week. It doesn't work that way, because they're practicing hard this week, especially for South Alabama. You mentioned them. I think it's worth talking about. They're struggling this season. They lost Gio Lopez. We had to deal with him in North Texas last year. We went to Mobile and beat him over there. It was a couple things there. Our receiver balled out, our quarterback balled out. We were all very, very excited about that. A lot of RPOs in that game. Gio Lopez is throwing the ball all over us. Different quarterback this time. Their offense is struggling, not as well. But Major Applewhite is an offensive guy. He's been coaching up offenses everywhere, and I think, like, to your point, there's a support to come back to Texas, but I also think he's sort of fighting for his job a little bit, where it's, people are starting to say, is he the right guy? Do we have the right dude? And I mean, look, I like Major Applewhite. I used to like watching him when he played at Texas, but I want North Texas to win, and then them have more conversations about it. Like I said, I feel like you really put a hurting on a team when, like, Washington State, they're like, you know what, we got to open up the QB competition again. Are we doing the right thing? Like when y'all beat up on SMU and then they fired the coach, you know what I mean? Like, that's when you put a hurting on teams. They're like, we're not doing it. Something's got to change. Janitor, you're fired. We got to change the colors, change the cleats, change the playbooks, get new software, get new computers, everything got to go. So I want to do that to, I mean, what I'm saying? South Alabama, good luck. Nobody gets hurt like that, but I hope you start having those conversations. You know what I mean? Change the footballs, get new logos, something. So are you gonna be there? You gonna be there on game? It's 11 a.m. That's just crazy.
I'm not gonna be there. I gotta get to. I think I'm making arrangements to make it to the UTSA. I was thinking about going, but then I forgot that my wife and I we committed to helping our girls basketball coach. Their team is playing in a Round Rock tournament, and they got a game at 8 a.m. and 12:20. So yes, I'm gonna be coaching, but best believe at 12:20 that game is gonna be on my cellular device. I made just to make sure I'm coaching. I'm gonna have my AirPod in, listening to it. But definitely excited, man. I see everybody talking about come out to the desert. How did we get that? So I missed the beat. How do we get this desert?
Yeah, he's wearing a desert. So it all started when Washington State. It's so funny because I was in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I went to that game, and I was just telling the guy, I was like, yeah, everybody thinks Texas is the Old West. Like we're on horses going to class like that. It's not. We're real. It's modern. It's a modern state. I was like, maybe you go far west Texas is a little bit more like that, but not. So I said that, and then like I guess Washington State's staffer was like, they just made a little graphic like going down to Texas to go, play the mean green, and it had like cactus around the stadium, around I keep wanting to call it apogee, around DATQ, and and everybody was like, what is this? Like, we're not in the desert. That's not what it is. And so everybody just kind of bought in that way and then just kept calling it the desert. And I was like, yeah, so that's the fun of it. So being calling it the Denton Desert.
Yeah, the Denton Desert. It just has such a good ring to it. Winning made it even better.
Yeah.
No doubt. I like it. I was like, I don't know this desert. I'm like, I missed it, the beat, but okay, I like it. The desert. I tweeted out the eagle with his stuff on. I'm like, it's pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I heard somebody, correct me, I guess, if you guys are listening to this, you understand the whole thing. I saw somebody tweet, and they said they were making shirts, and they made a shirt with, like, cactus and stuff. And then one guy from Washington State was like, let me get one of those. And they're like, why? What do you want? And they're like, I made the graphic. I made the thing. So I kind of wanted to just kind of put a cap on it. And they're like, all right, so. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's fun. I'm not a big fan of continuing with that, like beyond the season or even really past this week. But let everybody have fun. I'm not gonna tell somebody how to have fun. They can do their thing.
No doubt.
All right. So as we continue, I think we talked a lot about South Alabama. I think a lot of it is about North Texas handling business. Here's again fun stat: 59 to 3, and then I'm sorry. 51-0, and then 59-10. Those are the two scores at home. And then over here, on the road, 33-30, 45-38, overtime. So if the pattern holds, and again, I graduated from North Texas. I'm a smart guy. I can recognize patterns. I feel like we're gonna get 50 in this game. It's only right. We're just following a pattern. No. So with all that said, can I get your hot sports prediction? I got my pen out. Like it's a North Texas pen and everything, so I'm gonna write it down.
Sports prediction. Okay, as you said, I mean we're averaging over 50 a game at the house. I think we got a lot of excitement going on. They are looking at the tweets because they can't not see it. They're looking at their photos, all those different things, the cool celebrations. But as I said earlier, I think that they're locked in. They know what they can do. They're looking at seeing what can be possible as long as we take care of this week. So they're locked into this week. They're gonna have a great day on offense. Defense is gonna make some plays as well. They're gonna get a few plays, but they're not gonna have a fun time in there. We're not gonna hit 50. If we do hit 50, let's get it. But we're gonna go with 45 for us, for the good guys, and we're gonna give the bad guys 13.
13. I like that. Yeah, I mean, Mason's over there saying 42-31. I was like, that's you don't believe in Cassidy, I guess is what you're saying. Aldo, yeah, do you have another hot sports prediction? You want to modify yours? I forget what you said.
I forgot what I said. 42-15. 15.
These weird numbers. I'm going to go ahead. I think I said something like 40, whatever. I cannot remember, and I don't have it in front of me. I did say a prediction before. I think I even said it on the Monday show. But I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say we're gonna get 50. because again, I got to recognize the pattern. I just got to,
50 burger.
and then I think we're not gonna let them score more than 10. So I'm gonna say 50-10. That's my prediction. All right, so we got some quick fire questions for you as we finish this one up. I know we're kind of running out of time. It's a lot of talking, a lot of good stuff in this one. Aldo, do you wanna just fire off some questions?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
He typed it up on his typewriter.
Yeah. So, in the past, when we do back in the Conference USA days, we would go to the summer, whatever it's called, kickoff event, and we would ask people what is their favorite non-North Texas stadium. So, do you have a favorite non-North Texas stadium?
Favorite none. So cool thing back in my day, we got to play in a lot of them. I think both Death Valleys are cool, but I really liked my first game ever was at Clemson. That was really cool. They running down the hill, balloons. They got all that stuff. On top of it, I'm 18. I have no business out there. I'm just letting out. I had no business out there playing. I got in the game, but probably Clemson. I liked Clemson, and then I liked Alabama was cool too. I mean, they do a good job, especially with those fields that got grass. I mean, they do good at those power forwards. That's some good grass. It's cut nice, all that. I was like, man, this is crazy. So I think probably those two, Brian Denny or Saban Field and Death Valley and Clemson.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny. I was talking to a guy who played like in Europe, played soccer, right? And he was talking about that. He played like kind of lower leagues, and then they went up to like a really good team, and like everybody was just like, "Man, this grass is real nice." And then like you can't tell the difference, and then you don't realize what you don't until you feel it. You're like, "Man, that could have been down this whole time." All right, go ahead. Alba.
Have you seen this grass?
Yeah, that's how they get you. They get in your head. You're like, look at this grass. Y'all don't have this grass. That's why you're gonna lose. And you're like, hey man, what?
A&M makes its own grass. A&M invents its own grass.
Yeah.
Right. I got a couple more. What's your favorite playing memory?
Favorite playing memory is, I think, just that 2013 team. Doing what we said we wanted to do. All the hard work that we put in and really just locking in with each other. And even when we had that setback at UTSA, followed back, went to Tulsa and put a beating on them and winning the bowl game. I think that was my favorite year for sure. But I think everything leading up to that point was cool too, because it took hard work to get there, and it took a group of guys and Coach Mack and his staff to really, and Coach Wintrick, the strength coach, it took them to really buy into us and us to buy into them. To have a mindset about what we were going to do and what kind of football we were going to play. So definitely the 2013 season was my favorite. That was my favorite memory of football for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, it's because y'all took out whatever frustration you had from UTSA, and I don't know what conversations y'all had with each other, but that was your career high, right? You had 250 something yards against Tulsa, and you had like an 80 yarder or something like that. I mean,
251.
Yeah. That's 251 and actually a quarter because I got the ball a little bit. They just didn't measure. I like that. Yeah. So I mean, going into that one, did you was just Tulsa just the team that was going to get it that week because of how frustrated y'all were? I mean,
so y'all might think this is funny, but I mean, this is the real deal. So we were frustrated. Coach Mack was mad at us. We were mad. We knew we didn't play well. So leading into the week, we're like, all right, got to bounce back. Hit 8. Our thing that year, our mantra was hit 6, because 6 games. You hit 6, you make it to a bowl game. Obviously, we did that against Rice. Great time. Hit 7 against UTEP. Great time. Mess up. We choked at home, UTSA. And, that week was tough because Coach Mack was on us a little harder. But I had a guy, Breland and I, we had a teammate. Donnell Hawkins, shout out to him. He's still living in Tulsa. He does like math tutoring for kids. He's doing a great job making an impact in that. But he played at Tulsa, so he went there out of high school. We went to UNT out of high school. And every time we'd go home during Christmas or that first part of summer, we were the laughing joke because we sucked. We were losing. Man, y'all suck. Y'all aren't good. So leading into that game, he was a starting Mike linebacker. And I remember during pregame, you can go out and do stuff or you can stay in. I stayed in for most of the part. And Breland came to me and said, "Hey man, Hawkins is already talking." Now I don't know if this is true or not, but it set me off, and I was like, "All right, like okay, like I don't know, like, something clicked that day." And every time I was able to make a play, I was talking to him like, "Hey man, Hawkins, where y'all at?" Just because like it was built up, and I'm not a trash talker. I don't really. I go play. I like to play and
Yeah.
talk to my guys, but he had been talking for years and years. So like I already had it circled on the calendar, but it definitely when we pulled up and Breland was like, "Hey man, Hawkins is already out there talking." I was like, "All right." I didn't know I was gonna go and do what I did, but I think that definitely helped fuel me to have a good game on top of the O line. They heard about it all week because we wanted to
Yeah.
run the ball. We weren't able to run the ball great against UTSA, so they did a good job for not just me, but Jimmy Show, Twan had a good game as well, and everybody on offense. So that definitely sparked it for sure. I think Hawkins talking trash. So shout out to my man Hawkins.
But I hope that on the anniversary of that game, you just text him 251 and just I don't know and see what he's like. Man,
I may do it just to be petty. I don't know.
I mean, I would do it. I'd just be like, hey, 250. Hey, what is 250 plus one? It's 251. Just like, just do that. Just keep doing that. Just don't send him math problem. You do math tutoring, right? Like, just doing that.
Yeah,
Tell him that.
no doubt.
All right. So yeah, that's good. Aldo, sorry, I interrupted your line of questioning because.
Oh, no. This is good. I think for my last one, I like watching the offense play. I focus more on that. I'm yelling as a fan. I'm yelling at the TV like turn to the sideline or follow your blockers, quit running outside. And so same thing with the running backs. As a former running back, and you're watching them. Is there anything you watch when you're watching Sibley? And it doesn't have to be like a correction or anything, but like a Sibley, McGill, and now Caleb Hawkins, who's lots of folks have been talking about preseason. Like you're watching, like, oh, this guy's got it. And what are those things that you're watching for?
Those guys and just in general, you're watching to see if they can, number one, stay square, press in the hole, depending on what the play is. Like if it's an inside run, are they pressing it? Are they able to see the lanes that the line is creating? If they're able to create it front side, back side, you hope to see that they're able to hit the correct hole, and then um, the sign of a great back to me is what they're doing yard after contact, so they're getting yak yards, different things like that. In the pass game, we pass the ball a lot and do a good job of it. Watching to see if we're in pass protection correct. So that's where my eyes go when I'm looking at running backs. I'm like, man, like if I see something good, or man, they should have, they missed this hole. Like to me, in the Super Bowl game, I feel like Saquon, who had a great year last year, I feel like he was trying to do too much in that game. He still had a good game, still helped his team win, but I feel like he was trying to make the big home run play instead of letting the game come to him. So I think as a running back, you kind of have to let the game come to you. You can't force anything. And I mean that can be said about any position, but to me, you got to take what the defense gives you, and over time, you hope that you get hot and they get tired of tackling you, or your O line continues to do a good job of opening up lanes so that you're one on one in the open field. But that's definitely stuff that I look at, and I've been impressed with our running back room. I think it's funny that every week when the depth chart comes out, it's a different starter, and then or this guy or this guy. Like to me, that shows that you have confidence in all four of your back. I don't think that that's a problem at all. I've always shared the field at UNT, aside from freshman and sophomore year, we already knew Lance was going to get the ball, and that's fine because he had a heck of a career for us and in the NFL. But junior year I shared it with Antoine and Jeremy Brown, and then senior year Twan again, and then Reggie came over from Purdue, and we also saw Rex Rollins get in. So I think it's always cool to see. I think you're seeing that more now in today's game. You're seeing a lot more guys having or teams having more than one back. Yes, you got a feature back, but I think right now, especially in the league, you can only think about Derrick Henry. Maybe there might be some other ones, but for the most part, being able to have at least a 1-2 punch. Now the defense can't really key on one, and both backs are providing something different to stress your defense out even more. So that's something that I look at with watching running back play, and I mean I like it. I think it's the best position. I'm not gonna say it's the hardest. It's not the hardest for sure, but I like it because it's beautiful to see especially with the line when they open things up, and now you're able to go create a play. So that's what I look at.
Yeah, the running back position is the oldest position, and it's everybody's first position, right? Like everybody, you kind of like fall off at running back. Like you first out there playing, you get in the ball, everybody tries to be whoever. For me, I was trying to be Barry Sanders. Then at some point, then you're like, okay, I'm not going to be Barry Sanders, and then somebody else is faster than you, stronger than you, whatever it is, and then you kind of do whatever. But that's the old school. That's the very first football position. Turn the ball, hand it off. That you watch 1930s football is hand the ball off and then let them go do their thing. That's really it. So I see how you can say it's the best position. We changed the rules up, and now now the quarterbacks get everything. But it used to be just like hand the ball off and run the ball, stop the run. You have any more questions, Aldo? I don't want to.
No, I was just going to add,
I keep cutting you off. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. With running backs, like you can't be one dimensional, and if you don't have that running aspect to your team, then you become one dimensional and you're easier to stop. And so having that running back that can get that 2-yard conversion, that 1-yard conversion makes a huge difference and takes pressure off of the quarterback to have to make those hero plays. And so I really appreciate that.
Yeah. It's the details. All right, so speaking of, who was your favorite running back growing up? Who did you try to be? Now, I don't want to say like who you modeled your game after, because I know that later on you're trying to pick up something. But you're a kid, and you're like, I want to be who?
So, growing up, I watched a lot of I like highlights of Earl Campbell and guys like that who ran hard. But
that's some old school football. That's like my uncle used to watch Earl Campbell.
Yeah, well, I like ESPN Classic, so I used to watch that and see them on there. But Adrian Peterson was definitely the guy I was trying to be. Obviously, I'm not 6'2", 6'3", 225, whatever he was. But I really liked how angry he ran and didn't care who was in front of him, just getting downhill. I mean, that's somebody who I really watched growing up. I liked watching him. I also liked watching LT. I wasn't as shifty as that guy, but he was really good too. But I really liked those two guys growing up. Those were my favorite guys to watch. So,
classic. I think I was going to say this. Like, I always thought that North Texas had a very good history of running backs. Obviously, you mentioned Lance Dunbar. Jeff Wilson is in the league. I think you kind of get overlooked. You had a nice career there in a little bit, but you kind of get overlooked because you were between those two guys. So, I mean, I just want to give you a shout out. We're big fans of Brandin Byrd running the football, and all those other guys you mentioned too. Like I said, North Texas has had a lot of dudes that are good to pretty good, very good, all that stuff. And I mean, even right now, like Patrick Cobb's over there coaching up the running backs. So I think the current group is in good hands. We got that legacy there. I like that.
Yeah, we can rattle off names, right? Willie Ivory, Antoine. You mentioned Antoine. Like those are guys that were exciting to watch. And
DeAndre Torrey.
DeAndre Torrey. Yeah,
it's so many. Like y'all said, it's cool, man. It's so many good backs that come through, and that was the coolest part. Whenever I did get offered by North Texas, because I watched a lot of football and seeing bowl games, seeing Patrick Cobbs, Kevin Galbraith. People don't really know about that name. Like it's Jamario Thomas. I know he didn't play there all 4 years, but there's been so many good backs, man.
Yeah, Jamario Thomas is still in the record books, he had a ridiculous season. Yeah. So, yes, North Texas, maybe it's not, like I said, maybe it's not Texas, like Earl Campbell, all them dudes, Ricky Williams, all that. But, I mean, North Texas has something to say. I'll say that. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to the show. Let's thank our guest, Brandin Byrd. Let's not make this the first and only time. We'll reach out to you again. We'll definitely have you on. I have nothing else. We all good, Aldo? Should we say go Mean Green?
Yeah.
Go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green. Appreciate y'all having me.
Recording stopped.
Oh, sorry. I got you on this other one. I got you.
Nah, you